This is Allison Jasso, Friendswood High School's lead counselor, here to talk to you about House Bill 5. This is particularly focused for students who are currently in grades 9 through 11 and the options that House Bill 5 can give to them. There are two current graduation plans that our students who are in grades 9 through 11 could possibly be on. The first is the Recommended High School Program. It is made up of 26 credits. There is also the Distinguished Achievement Program, which is made up of 26 credits as well. You are probably familiar with whichever of those two plans that your student is currently on. There are now new graduation plans coming into Texas public schools. House Bill 5 is mandated for all incoming 9th grade students in the 2014-2015 school year, and it is also an option for students who are currently in grades 9 through 11. It consists of a foundation high school program with endorsements, and it is made up of 26 credits. There is also a distinguished level of achievement that students can choose, and it is made up of 26 credits as well, and it would still consist of the foundation plan in addition to some other requirements. We'll explore both of these in our later slides. Moving to either of these graduation plans under House Bill 5 will be a personal family decision that only you can decide. We're hoping to provide you with some information that will help make that decision a little easier for you. From this chart, you can tell that there is a foundation, which is made up of 22 credits. With the House Bill 5 graduation plan, all students that graduate will have to complete the same foundation. You'll notice that there are 4 English courses that are required. There are 3 mathematics courses required, 3 science courses, 3 social studies, 2 world language, 1 fine arts, 1 PE, 4 electives, and then there is a local Friendswood ISD requirement to still complete professional communications, which is known as speech, and a half credit of health. In the middle part of the chart, you will notice that it expands, and on top of the foundation plan, students are required to choose an endorsement. You'll notice that the 5 endorsements are STEM, business and industry, public services, arts and humanities, and multidisciplinary. The chart also lists that there is an option to be a distinguished grad, and there are also performance acknowledgments. I realize the wording on these charts are little, but in the next upcoming slides, we're going to take a greater look at these, and you'll be able to see that clearly. This next slide is looking at the current recommended high school program and comparing it with the new foundation high school program with endorsements. It's laying out the specific requirements for each of those so that you can tell the major differences. When you're looking at English, comparing recommended to the foundation, you'll notice that they both require 4 credits in English. In math, both of them are going to require 4 credits. Science, both of them are requiring 4. You will notice that you have different options for your science depending on what endorsement you're pursuing. Whereas with the science requirement and the recommended high school plan, that's pretty much set. Some students do have a free choice, their 4th science, but there will be a little bit more flexibility when you're looking at the foundation high school program with the endorsements. Social studies is going to be your major difference. With the 4x4 recommended high school plan that your students are currently on, they are having 4 science credits that are required: world geography, world history, United States history, government, and economics. You'll notice under the new foundation high school plan with an endorsement, the students are going to be able to choose whether they take world geography or world history. Only one of those is required. They can still take both, but they're only required to have one of those. They do still have to complete United States history and government and economics, so that makes 3 credits of social studies. Language other than English, both of them are still requiring 2 credits. You still have to have 1 fine arts credit, 1 PE credit. Friendswood ISD has made the local decision to still require speech and health for our students. And then you can see the electives. Both plans require 26 credits. The next slide is taking a look at the Distinguished Achievement Program, which is a current plan that your student could be on, and comparing that to the new Distinguished Level of Achievement. Please note that distinguished is used in both of these, but it has a different meaning. We'll look at the new Distinguished Level of Achievement, and you'll see how this is going to be a default grad plan for Friendswood High School students because of some of the local requirements that we've put into place. When you're looking at the English requirements, both the DAP and the Distinguished Level of Achievement are both requiring 4 credits of English. For math, you're still going to notice that you have to have 4 credits. 4 sciences, again, they're made up differently depending on what endorsement you're pursuing. Social studies is still 3 credits, the same that we talked about in the last slide, where with the new plan, you're having world geography or world history. You have the choice there, along with your U.S. history, government, and economics. One of the 2 major differences between the DAP plan and the Distinguished Level of Achievement is with the languages other than English, the world language as you are probably used to hearing it. In the DAP plan, students were required to have 3 years of the same world language, or 3 credits of the same world language. Under the new Distinguished Level of Achievement plan, with the House Bill 5, we're looking at students only needing to have 2 world language requirements. So that's one of the major differences. If you'll look down to the left of the slide, under the DAP plan, students not only had to complete 3 years of the same world language, or 3 credits of the same world language, they also had to have 4 advanced measures. And there were different ways that you could earn those measures by taking dual credit classes, performing well on AP test, taking articulated credit, completing an ISM project, etc. So there were several ways that you could achieve those measures, but you did have to achieve 4 additional measures on top of the classes that were listed under the Distinguished Achievement Plan. So taking a look at the Distinguished Achievement Plan versus the House Bill 5 graduation plan, again, under the Distinguished Achievement Plan, just reiterating that, you had to have 4 advanced measures that must be earned to be able to receive the Distinguished Achievement Plan. And then with House Bill 5, you're now going to see that there are performance acknowledgments. This is on top of completing the foundation plan, on top of receiving your endorsement. There will be performance acknowledgments. These will be placed on the transcript. And in the next slide, we are going to look at the specific performance acknowledgments. House Bill 5 has performance acknowledgments where a student can receive outstanding performances in dual credit, bilingualism and biliteracy, advanced placement exams, PSAT, SAT, or ACT, depending on what your student scores, and business or industry certificates or license, which means that they have a workforce readiness component. The details of each of these performance acknowledgments are finely detailed in the academic planning guide, so I would encourage you to take a look at those. Depending on which, if any, performance acknowledgments your student would receive, they would be able to have these indicated on their transcript. Again, the performance acknowledgments only go with the new graduation plan, so these would only be put on your transcript if your student moved to that. Back on the Distinguished, just a reminder, these are called the measures. So we're still keeping track of those with the Distinguished plan under the 4x4. They're just indicated differently on the transcript under the new graduation plan. The Distinguished Level of Achievement, we've been talking about for the past few slides. It consists of the Foundation High School plan with an endorsement, and it must include Algebra 2. And in order for our students to be accepted into a Texas public university, our top 10% ranking students that would have been automatically granted admission on the recommended or the distinguished plans, with the new graduation plan, they are required to have earned the Distinguished Level of Achievement before they are granted automatic admission. You'll notice that it's mentioning the top 10%. With the exception of University of Texas at Austin, it specifically says top 7%. That is for this year's graduating class. The percentage that they are allowing for automatic admission fluctuates each year, so it would be important for you to check their website to see for your particular student's graduation class what percentage are they going to be granting automatic admission. Again, under the Recommended High School Plan and the Distinguished Achievement Plan, all top 10% graduates are eligible for automatic admission to any four-year public university in Texas. And again, it is an exception with the University of Texas at Austin. They are accepting the top 7%, and again, that is something that you would want to check on their website each year. So looking at the Recommended High School Program versus the Distinguished Level of Achievement, we've talked about the difference in your social studies. With the Recommended High School Plan, you would need 4 credits of social studies, the world geography, world history, U.S. history, and government and economics. But with the Distinguished Level of Achievement, you're only needing 3 credits. You have the choice between world geography or world history, U.S. history, and government and economics. With the endorsement options on the Distinguished Level of Achievement, you can actually pick which endorsements you want to receive. In the upcoming slides, we're going to take a look at the different endorsements and how you can earn those. So we will go into detail about those on later slides. The next chart that you are going to see is focusing on college admissions requirements. I think before you make your decision, you really need to be thinking about what your students' post-secondary goals are. We've comprised a chart that is looking at the top 20 colleges that students applied for, and this is based on our 2013 graduates from Friendswood High School. So you'll see the colleges listed, and then you'll look and you'll see that there are different columns specifically focusing on the cores and then also the world language component. So you'll notice looking down at the 20 colleges that are listed here that pretty much all of them are going to require 4 credits of English. You'll notice some variations between what colleges are wanting with their math, science, social studies, and language other than English. So when you're noticing that some of them have 2 numbers listed, so for example, University of Texas at Austin, the 3rd college listed there, under math, it's a 3 and then a 4 in parentheses. So they are requiring 3, but they prefer to see 4. 4 is recommended, 3 is required. So that's something that's important for you to look at. We want to make sure that you do note that this is just for admission into the university as a whole. Depending on what major you're wanting to get into, they may have more rigorous requirements, and that is something that you will need to do some research on. You can find that information out on the university's admissions page. We'll also be exploring Naviance later on in our presentation. And that is another feature that you can use, another program that your student has access to log into to where you'll be able to find out specific information about college admissions requirements. We're hoping that by looking at the college admission requirements, this can help you start making a decision about what plan your student needs to focus on, trying to help them reach their post-secondary goals. So now that we've looked at the chart as far as what colleges are requiring, depending on what university you're wanting to apply to, you may be asking, how will colleges recognize the Foundation High School program, the endorsements, and the Distinguished Level of Achievement? Unfortunately, there's not current data available right at this time on how colleges will recognize the endorsements, because this is such a new graduation plan. This is transitioning in this next upcoming school year, so colleges haven't had an opportunity to weigh in on that at this point. Colleges will continue to evaluate transcripts for the types of courses taken, grades earned, along with test scores and academic resume. So none of that has changed. And I do want to repeat that your students that are currently on Recommended High School program or the Distinguished Achievement program, those are strong college preparatory plans. So they will be able to apply for a four-year university, and they will be evaluated just as they always have been. They're going to be looking at the courses that they've taken, what grades they earned, what their GPA and class ranking happens to be, and then also looking at their test scores from SAT and or ACT, and finally looking at that resume to see what types of extracurricular activities your student was involved in. The next 5 slides are going to specifically focus on the endorsements that are available in our new House Bill 5 graduation plan, the Foundation High School Plan with endorsements. The first endorsement that we're going to talk about is the Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math endorsement. That's better known as the STEM endorsement. There are required courses here. They're Algebra 2, Chemistry, and Physics. You'll notice that the career cluster is going to fall under STEM. And these are courses that are directly related to the engineering cluster, computer science, or 2 additional maths in which Algebra 2 is a prerequisite. One nice feature of our academic planning guide this year is there is a section specifically focused on House Bill 5 and the new graduation plans, and you'll be able to notice that there are charts listed in there that our CTE director, Debbie Woodson, has spent a lot of time on focusing the electives that we offer now, specifically listing what cluster they fall under and then what endorsement that cluster falls under. So that's a wonderful resource for you if you're wanting to pick electives that fall within these particular endorsements. The next endorsement is Business and Industry. Required courses for this endorsement are going to be Algebra 2 and an additional science on top of the foundation. And I do want to point out at this time that you will notice that Algebra 2 is going to be a required course no matter what endorsement you select. This is a Friendswood ISD local decision that was reached. Algebra 2 is going to be required in each endorsement to ensure college readiness. Our university representatives that we work with are saying that students, to be college ready, need to have at least completed Algebra 2. So that was behind the decision for making Algebra 2 a requirement for each of these endorsements. So looking specifically at Business and Industry, the career clusters that fall under this endorsement are Agriculture, Architecture, Audio and Video Technology, Business, Finance, Hospitality, IT, and Marketing. So they're going to include courses that are directly related to the Business and Industry CTE career clusters. And again, you'll be able to find specific courses that fall under that cluster in our academic planning guide. Also, there are courses that relate to this that are related to our debate courses, our newspaper courses, and our yearbook courses. The third endorsement is the Public Services endorsement. Again, this will require Algebra 2 and a 4th science. We will be looking at career clusters that are focused on education, health science, and law and public safety. These are going to include courses that directly relate to the Public Services CTE career clusters that will be listed in the academic planning guide. A lot of these courses are new courses to Friendswood High School this upcoming school year, and we're very excited about those. The 4th endorsement is Arts and Humanities. Required courses under this endorsement are Algebra 2 and a 4th science. You'll notice that there's an asterisk beside this 4th science because it may be substituted with parent approval for another course in ELA, Social Studies, Language Other than English, or a Fine Arts. So instead of having to take that additional science, you can substitute one of those types of courses in for that 4th science. We would like to strongly suggest before you would make this decision to check to see what the requirements are for your post-secondary goals. So if you're applying to a college that requires that 4th science, that wouldn't be a decision that you would want to make, substituting that other course in for that science. So it's important for you to assess what your post-secondary goals are going to be. There are courses that are directly related to the arts and humanities. Those are courses in our social studies, language other than English, or fine arts departments, which is related to our art classes, dance, music, and theater classes. The last endorsement is our multidisciplinary studies. Required courses for this endorsement, in addition to the foundation plan, are going to be Algebra 2 and an additional science. You're going to notice that it includes courses directly related to advanced courses, which are designated to prepare you for the workforce or post-secondary education. These courses are going to be determined at the district level. That was written in House Bill 5 to where school districts are going to be able to evaluate their courses and determine which courses are going to be considered advanced courses. And so that will be determined at a later time. Also, courses that fall under the multidisciplinary studies endorsement are going to be your 4x4, which is your core subject areas, including English 4, chemistry, and or physics. And then also advanced placement courses and dual credit courses. Again, there will be a section in the academic planning guide that specifically lists out all of the career clusters and all of the courses offered at Friendswood High School that fits each cluster. So that will be a wonderful, wonderful resource for you when you're selecting your electives this year. So now that we've talked about the 5 different endorsements on the new graduation plan, you may be asking yourself, how are you going to make these endorsements connect with yourself? How will you make sure that you're making a meaningful decision on whether or not to move to the new graduation plan or if you want to stay on your current graduation plan? And we're going to strongly encourage you to access your Naviance account and to use the tools that you can find in there under your family connection to help you determine what you need to do this upcoming school year with your choices that you're taking for your courses. Your Naviance Family Connection has some wonderful resources for you that could be valuable no matter what grade level you're in. Each year, you are going to be updating your 4-year plan. And that is listed under your course plan in your Naviance account. This is a piece of your personal graduation plan that is mandated under House Bill 5 for each student to have. Also, another component of our personal graduation plan is our goal setting. So in Naviance, you have the option and the capability of going ahead and listing those goals in your Naviance account, and you can specify whether they're academic, career, or personal social goals. In your Naviance family account, you'll also see that there is a career cluster survey finder. So this would help you determine what endorsement may be best suited for you. So if you're a student who is interested in the endorsements, but you're not quite sure which endorsement would be something that you would want to maybe spend some time on, then that would be a good place to start. Going into your Naviance account, logging in, and taking that career cluster survey finder. That would be a good thing for you to consider doing. Also, in Naviance Family Connection, there's a feature under the Colleges tab that is the Supermatch College Search, which would be great for any grade level to start exploring. It allows you to set search criteria for universities that you're wanting to look at post-secondary, and it is going to give you the capability of saying whether or not you want to stay in-state, go out-of-state, so you can specify what location you want. You can specify if you want public or private universities. You can even get as specific as saying that you know you want to go to a university that has a Division I football team. So depending on what criteria you set, the middle part of that screen is going to start populating colleges that meet your requirements. Once you've done that, you can further look at the colleges and look and see what their retention rate is, what their tuition and fees are, what their room and board costs are, what their average SAT and ACT scores were for students who were accepted the past few years. So that's a wonderful resource for you whenever you start thinking about what colleges you want to apply to. I would strongly encourage you going onto your Naviance account and accessing that Supermatch College Search. In Naviance, you can also search for scholarships. Our local scholarships are inputted in there as soon as they're received by our building. And then there also is the capability to look on the national database for scholarships. And finally, our college application process goes through Naviance now. You're able to request letters of recommendation. You're able to request your transcripts. Documents are able to be sent electronically. That way you're not having to wait on the postal service to deliver it and worry about whether or not your paperwork is going to get lost in the shuffle with all the thousands of pieces of paper that goes into an admissions office in any of our major universities that our students apply to. So I could definitely talk about Naviance all day. I think it is a wonderful resource. It came to Friendswood High School 2 years ago. Each year we're starting to incorporate more tools that it has to offer. There are endless ways that you can use this as a student and as a parent. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me or your student's counselor at any time. We're happy to walk you through that process. But again, definitely make time to look at your Naviance account. I think that you will find it worthwhile. So now that you've made the decision as far as whether or not you're staying on the recommended high school program, the distinguished achievement program, or if you want to make the move and change to the foundation high school plan with endorsements, you may be wondering if you could change endorsements on the foundation high school plan under House Bill 5. And definitely that is a possibility. You're going to continue to update your 4-year plan every year along with your course registration. You log into Skyward, you pick your courses, then you log into Naviance and you update your 4-year plan. So you could definitely look to see if you can move endorsements, but what I would encourage you to do is to plan ahead, because as you get further along in your high school career, you're going to find that changing endorsements is going to become more challenging just because you're going to have a limited number of years left that you would have available to have to take the credits required to earn the endorsement. So it is very important for you to plan ahead to keep updating your 4-year plan in Naviance. You can access that any time of the year, not just the time that we're doing our course registration. So if it's something that's on your mind, you want to look at changing endorsements, you would need to communicate that with your counselor and also update that in your 4-year plan in Naviance, just to make sure you have all of the necessary course requirements. So another question that you could think of would be, could you earn multiple endorsements? You know, we've talked about the 5 endorsements that are available under the Foundation High School Plan and Endorsement Program under House Bill 5. And yes, I would say that it would be possible for you to earn multiple endorsements. I'm looking at some of my students' transcripts. I could see where it would be easy for them to meet the requirements of 2, possibly 3 endorsements. However, the state at this point is saying now that only 1 endorsement will be indicated on the transcript. However, I will say that since House Bill 5 is so new, the state may eventually come back and change this to allow for multiple endorsements to be listed on the transcript. But I do want to make you aware at this point we're only looking at putting 1 of the endorsements on the transcript. Something that's always important to our students, particularly if they're applying to a 4-year university right after high school, is GPA. There will be advanced GPA courses that are going to be offered in not only the foundation 22 credits that you would have to have on the new graduation plan, but also when you specifically look at the 5 endorsements, there will be advanced courses in those that have the potential to earn extra weight for your GPA and your class ranking. When I'm talking about advanced courses, I'm talking about your pre-AP courses, your AP courses, and any other advanced courses that receive extra weight on those 2 scales, the 100-point GPA and the 8-point GPA, which is the one that we use for class ranking. Students are always encouraged, no matter what graduation plan they're on, to take courses that will challenge them and provide the most rigor, but yet they also need to maintain a balance of academics with their other activities. We added some additional wording in our academic planning guide this past year when we're looking at students selecting what course load to take. We never want to discourage a student from challenging themselves and taking advanced courses, but you also need to be realistic and, ask yourself, what are your extracurricular requirements? What time commitment are you having to put into your outside of school activities? So that's something that we want you to continue thinking about whenever you're picking your courses. You have to be able to find that personal balance, and it differs from one student to another. So that's something that we need for you to also consider no matter what graduation plan you're going to continue on. So going back and looking at our current graduation plans that our students are on now, the recommended high school plan or the distinguished achievement plan, students that are in grades 9 through 11th have been working on and updating those 4-year plans since 8th grade. They're college preparatory plans, they're excellent plans, and so that might be something that you want to continue on. We want to make sure that we're creating a seamless transition between high school and post-secondary opportunities. So it will require some work if you're looking at moving to the new graduation plan. We will need to make sure that you're aware of the courses that you've taken. We'll need to be able to evaluate your courses and see what endorsements you fall under. But that is something that you have the option of doing under House Bill 5. One other thing I would like to mention is that if you are looking at going to a Division I or II school to play sports post-secondary, it will be important for you to check the list of the NCAA approved course before choosing your courses, no matter what graduation plan you're under. And so with the flexibility of the new graduation plan, when we're talking about, the sciences being able to be a little bit more flexible than with the 4x4, it will still be very important if you're looking at playing sports to look at the NCAA approved courses and making sure that the courses that you are taking are approved by NCAA. We definitely wouldn't want you to run into any trouble as far as not being eligible with your classes that you are choosing to take. So our next step in the process is going to be choice sheets. Choice sheets are going to be handed out Wednesday, February the 19th, which is right around the corner. We'll have a full third period extension that day. The following Wednesday, February the 26th, choice sheets will be collected. And so you have a week to get all of the signatures that are required by your core teachers. You sign, have your parents sign. You have a week for that process. We also ask that during that week that you log into your Naviance account and you update your 4-year plan. That will be very important for you to have completed. All choice sheets, like always, are going to be required to have a parent signature. If you are opting to move to the House Bill 5 graduation plan, meaning that foundation high school program and selecting an endorsement, there will be a place on your choice sheet to designate that, and that will require a parent signature. If you're choosing to stay on the current graduation plan that you're on, meaning that you want to finish out on the 4x4 recommended high school plan or the Distinguished Achievement Program, depending on which one you're on, there's no need to sign in that box. There's just one place down at the bottom where you'll sign. But if you're opting to make that move, there is a designated spot on the choice sheet to indicate that. If you are opting to move to that new plan, your counselor will then evaluate your courses to verify that it is possible. In Naviance, you can also look at your course history. You can do some research, see what is needed for the plans so that you kind of have an idea as far as whether or not you meet the endorsements. So counselors will be looking at that if you're opting at moving to that new plan. I would like to request that you're very patient with the counselors at this time, as it is an extremely busy time of the year for us looking at choice sheets, because not only are we working with our current 9th through 11th graders, but we're also transitioning in our new group of 8th graders that'll be 9th graders next year. So the counselors will be in and out of the office at times helping with the course selection process. So I would just ask for you to be patient. We will have time to work through this. If you have questions, you may just want to send your counselor an email after you have looked at your course history, made that decision as far as whether or not you are going to move to the new graduation plan. But it is a personal decision that each family will have to reach on their own. And we hope that this presentation has helped give you some valuable information about House Bill 5. And we look forward to receiving your choice sheets in the upcoming weeks.